Hi, welcome to my short video on conversation analysis. This introductory guide is perfect for beginners. If you're already familiar with CA, this video might be too basic for you. Alright, in this video, we will start from the definition and origin of CA or conversation analysis. Then we will quickly talk about the key concepts in conversation analysis, which are turn-taking, adjacency pair, sequence, and preference organization. You can use the chapters to jump to specific sections. Then we will also have a quick look at the ethnomethodological foundations of CA, its applications, challenges and criticisms, and we will then end this video with future directions for conversation analysis. Alright, what is conversation analysis? As a scholar of conversation analysis, I see it as an approach to studying the structure of human conversation. It studies the building blocks of human conversation and how these building blocks are organized. Conversation analysis, or CA, was originated in the 1960s and 70s and primarily through the work of sociologists Harvey Sachs, Emmanuel Schlegels, and Gail Jefferson, who were associated with the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA. CA emerged as a qualitative research method within the field of sociology and linguistics. Now let us move on to the key concepts in conversation analysis. The first key concept in conversation analysis is turn-taking. The simplest observation that we can say about conversation is that people take turn to talk. And this is the very fundamental building block of conversation. That's the key concept of conversation analysis as well. The concept of turn-taking entails, the first one is the turn itself. It is a unit of talk when speaker change happens. Then there's also turn constructional unit, which makes up the turn. It is the smallest unit of social action. Linguistic and social interaction-wise, TCU or turn constructional unit can be as simple as a sigh, smile, or as complex as a full sentence. The next one is TRP or turn relevance place. It is a place or point in conversation when speaker change may happen. The next key concept is adjacency pair. It refers to a pair of turns in conversation, which constitute, the two turns constitute a unit of social action and response, if we may say so. For example, these two reciprocated hellos at the beginning of a phone call. Adjacency pair can be constructed from longer stretch of talk. For example, a question and an answer. Then the next key concept is sequence. Sequence is a stretches of talk that seem to hang together, a stretch that seem to constitute a unit in its own right over and above the turns at talk that composed it. A sequence can be as simple as an adjacency pair of hellos, or question and answers, or longer ones such as a storytelling sequence. The next key concept is preference organization. Preference organization refers to the observed asymmetry in conversation. One example is the asymmetry between preferred and dispreferred answer. A dispreferred answer is regularly delayed, prefaced, or even omitted. Here is a hypothetical example. We can see on the screen that the mother is asking her child to join her for a family gathering. But then the answer, there is no straightforward rejection. The daughter only said that she has an exam the next day and she needs to study and sleep early. Even without a direct rejection, the mother takes the daughter's answer as indication of inability to join, so thus announcing that the mother is not going to take her along for the family gathering. Here we can see the omission of the dispreferred response, which is rejection to go for the family gathering. In comparison, a speedy or straightforward response regularly observed for preferred responses. Ethnomethodology is a sociological approach that focuses on the study of how people make sense of their everyday social world. Garfinkel, a key figure in ethnomethodology, laid the groundwork for understanding the methods and practices individuals employ to construct social order in their interaction. Ethnomethodology challenges conventional sociological approaches by emphasizing the practical, everyday methods people use to create and sustain social order. In the context of CA, the ethnomethodological foundation is crucial because it encourages researchers to explore how participants in a conversation collaboratively construct and interpret meaning. Now we are moving on to the applications of conversation analysis. CA can be applied in any field involving human interaction. Notable examples include communication studies. CA is widely used in communication studies to examine how communication unfolds in everyday interactions, including both verbal and nonverbal aspects. It provides insights into how people manage conversations, negotiate meaning, and achieve mutual understanding. The next application is language teaching and learning. CA can inform language teaching by providing instructors with insights into how spoken language is used in real-life context. By analyzing authentic conversations, educators can develop teaching materials and activities that reflect the natural patterns and practices of language use. Next application is healthcare communication. CA is increasingly used in healthcare settings to analyze doctor-patient interaction, nurse-patient communications, and interactions among healthcare professionals. It helps identify effective communication strategies, diagnose communication breakdowns, and improve patient-centered care. Then you also have applications of CA in organizational communication. CA offers valuable insights into communication practices within organizations, such as meetings, workplace interactions, and decision-making processes. By analyzing how communication is structured and managed in those contexts, organizations can improve collaborations, efficiency, and productivity. CA can also be applied in interpersonal relationships. CA provides a framework for understanding how interpersonal relationships are constructed and maintained through conversation. It sheds light on how individuals express emotions, negotiate identities, and building rapports in various social contexts. CA can also be applied in legal and forensic settings. CA is used in legal and forensic settings to analyze courtroom interactions, police interrogations, and witness testimony, for examples. It helps identify patterns of communication that may influence legal outcomes and can be used to train legal professionals in effective communication techniques. In others, there are so many others applications as well. That one also includes human and computer interactions. There are several challenges and criticisms. Some are going to be mentioned here. The first one is cultural variations. Critics argue that CA should be cautious in assuming universality in its finding. CA has been developed in Western culture primarily, and applying its principle universally may not fully capture the diversity of communicative norms and practices across different cultures. The next one is its ability for generalization. Critics argue that CA may not provide a comprehensive understanding of communication in different settings or diverse population. Next is overemphasis on microanalysis. Critics argue that CA should not neglect macro-level social structures and cultural influences that shape communication patterns. Then, lack of attention of power dynamics. Critics suggest that CA sometimes overlooks power relation within interactions. Social hierarchies and asymmetries in power can significantly influence communication, but might not always be adequately addressed in CA studies, leading to a limited understanding of how power shapes discourse. Then, difficulty in accessing naturalistic data. Gathering naturalistic data for CA can be challenging. Thus, there are also issues with consent, privacy, and ethical considerations as well. Then the next, as mentioned, ethical consideration. The use of audio or video recordings for CA raises ethical and concerns regarding informed consent and privacy. Obtaining permission to record and analyze private conversation may impact the naturalness of the interactions, potentially influencing participants' behavior. Then interpretation and subjectivity. Analyzing conversational data involves interpretation, and different researchers may interpret the same data differently. Last, evolution of language. Language is dynamic and evolves over time. Critics argue that CA, by focusing on specific instances, may not fully capture the broader changes in language use and communication patterns over time. Future directions for CA or conversation analysis are likely to involve both advancements in methodology and the exploration of new domains of application. Here are some potential directions. The first one is multimodal analysis. Future CA research may increasingly incorporate multimodal data, including gestures, facial expressions, and other nonverbal cues, to gain a more comprehensive understanding of communication dynamics. This expansion would involve developing new analytical tools and frameworks for integrating multimodal elements into CA studies. The next one is technology-mediated communication. As digital communication continues to evolve, there will be growing interest in applying CA to analyze technology-mediated interactions such as video calls, virtual reality environments, and social media platforms. This research could explore how communication practices adapt to and are shaped by technological advancements. Then cross-cultural and multilingual studies. There's a need for more cross-cultural and multilingual CA studies to examine how conversational patterns vary across different cultural and linguistic contexts. This research could help uncover universal features of conversation as well as culture-specific norms and practices. Applied settings. CA has the potential to make significant contribution to applied fields such as healthcare, education, conflict resolution, and organizational management. Future research may focus on developing CA-based intervention and training programs to improve communication skills and enhance interaction competence in various professional contexts. Then, there's also longitudinal and historical studies. CA studies can provide insights into how conversation patterns and communication practices change over time. By analyzing archival data or conducting longitudinal studies, researchers can trace the evolution of language use and interactional norms within specific communities or social groups. Interdisciplinary collaborations. Collaborations between CA and researchers from other disciplines such as psychology, sociology, anthropology, linguistics, and computer science can enrich CA research by integrating diverse perspectives and methodologies. Interdisciplinary approaches can lead to new insights into the complex interplay between language, cognition, culture, and social interaction. Last, needs to be highlighted the ethical considerations. Future CA research should continue to prioritize ethical considerations, including informed consent, confidentiality, and the responsible use of data. Researchers need to address ethical challenges associated with the analysis of sensitive or confidential communication, particularly in applied settings such as healthcare or legal contexts. Alright, that's all for today, and see you again in my next video on Conversation Analysis Discussion Series by me, Rati Oktarini.